Welcome to Weaponized News with your hosts, Stuart Webb and Sam Cheney, fighting the international bankers' one world government scientific dictatorship. Break the mind control. Be the change you want to see in the world. And now, it's time for Weaponized News.
Thank you for that intro, Woody. Yeah, be the change you want to see in the world. Get up off your butts and go do something. Folks, this is Weaponized News on 1680 AM here in Fresno, California. I'm your host, Stuart Webb, along with my co-host, Sam Cheney, as well as our producer, Woody, in the studio. We'd like to thank the station for having us on this on the station, and we appreciate our listeners, our supporters, people who like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube, share our articles, and just support alternative media. We love you guys, and we're all fighting this battle together. The first hour of the broadcast, we have a special guest. His name's PaulWesley, Truthchaser. He is a citizen journalist. We've been following him for a while, and he does video reports. He covers a lot of things that's going on in his area. And you're from Philadelphia, correct?
Yes, sir, from Philadelphia, PA.
There we go, representing and fighting the battle, fighting the info war over there. Your latest video, Truthchaser, that I viewed was you calling out the mainstream media for them being complete hacks, not talking about real issues, and you just went up to them and said, hey, why aren't you covering, why is Barack Obama supporting terrorism in Syria? And they just said, they were real hostile with you. But you're just trying to, ask the mainstream media, because they're supposed to be reporting actually what's going on, and they're doing a terrible job. You're actually just saying, you're calling them out. And how did that work out? I mean, how did they react to you? Because it seemed like they were pretty hostile towards you.
Well, I'd like to first and foremost, I just want to say thanks for having me on, and you guys are doing a really great job doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Okay,
you
too.
This isn't the first time I've actually went ahead and went at the mainstream media. If you for all the listeners that view my channel, this is actually the 6th time. I mean, I literally shred the mainstream media in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I've done every single media outlet. I've actually went to Fox 29 News to their doorsteps and confronted them on why they don't talk about this or that. But in the particular video you're talking about, what had happened was they had an accident in Pennsylvania and Philadelphia, and all the mainstream media, were at the same accident at the same time. And for everyone who's listening, I really can't stress the importance of any time that you see or hear or know of the mainstream media being at one place at one time. It's like Christmas for a journalist. Because
yeah.
For a journalist, we get a chance to go ahead, in my mind at least, I'm thinking, well, hey, look, this is my chance to talk about the NDAA, to talk about the fact that, we live in a tyrannical, corrupt society, and that we really need to confront these paid provocateurs, government agents, and really put them on the spot for who they are and why they aren't putting out real news that not only I am, but you guys are. So I went down there. I went to where everyone was at. The guy from Fox 29 News seen me, knew who I was, because I have confronted Fox News on multiple times. He literally jumped in his van, and took off down Frankfurt Avenue. So, I went to all the news media and I said, hey, listen, with all you guys here, why aren't you covering mainstream media? Now that from that point, I came home. I decided to have a barbecue with the family. And my my autistic daughter, she's seen the helicopters in the sky. She came outside. Now, this is a 7-year-old little girl.
Yeah.
Came outside with my press pass and said, Dad, let's go get him. Now, this was
awesome.
The second I made. It's amazing. I know, it's amazing. And that's the beautiful thing about being an independent journalist is if we have families, they can see the amount of effort that we put in, and really they grow from it and they learn from it, and that's how the world's going to friggin' be changed, because we are the change. So so I went, me and my daughter, we went up and we pretty much exposed NBC 10, CBS 3, And as soon as I went up, when you watch the video, the one thing the fake media does is they'll tape off the area. Okay?
Yeah. You can't be here.
Like they own
Right, yeah, you know.
They own the sidewalk.
Area.
Yeah.
Nobody else can come. And that's what they did. So when you hear me yelling, I'm yelling in the YouTube video. I'm saying Barack Obama is funding Syria. I'm yelling through the tape because they literally have everything blocked off. You know, they have the cops there, and then they had the one guy comes in my face and he's threatening me, and he's like, well, you know, this and this, and I did what any single father, angry but professional journalist would do, and just, you know, demand and question what's going on. Why aren't you pushing any media? And obviously in the video, you know, like the fake stream media will do, he called the cops over. So I told the gentleman in a professional way. First, they questioned why would I have the audacity of bringing my daughter out to do such a thing. And I said, well, it's my First Amendment right to speak and, you know, be the media.
Yeah.
Okay? When I questioned the officer, he had no answer other than, you need to leave. So then I left.
Wow.
Confronted another a news network. And then he had the audacity to say, hey, look, do you honestly think that this is going to get on TV? I could care either or. Luckily, the cop came and approached me right then. The same cop who told me to move the one time came and got me. He's lucky that the cop was there at that moment, because I would have had a few words with him. But, you know, that was that. I mean, again, this isn't the first time that I've held things down in Philadelphia. I mean, you know, I believe in the one person can make a difference mentality, because, you know, a lot of people that get into activism, that get into independent journalism, you know, they don't have the money or the resources, and a lot of them are fearful to join groups, or maybe if I join a group, I'm too heavyset, they may not like me,
yeah.
Or if I join a group, you know, I may be black and they might not like me or accept me, you know, so I try to bring that mentality that, look, I'm not in a group, I support everyone, I support every group, but one person can make a difference, okay? And that can open up the courage to join groups, or to, if you want, go the way I do and just single-handedly just destroy the frigging media.
There we go.
You know, to each their own, do whatever you want. But again, you know, thanks for having me on, guys. And it's just it's a blessing to be able to do what we do.
Yeah. So, like you said, one person can make a difference. You believe that? That is true. Because look, remember the Super Bowl? Was it last year? I don't know if it was last year. I can't remember because I don't even watch the Super Bowl.
It was 2 years ago. No, it was 2 years ago when the guy jumped up and said about 9/11.
Absolute Mills Most. I remember subscribing to his channel because of that. I was like, this guy is legit. He just ran up and stole the show and turned it on the mainstream, saying we're not going to be beholden to your whole bread and circus football game and for mentally enslaved morons. I'm going to tell you, criminal elements within our own government perpetrated 9/11. 9/11 was an inside job. Literally, and there you go. He made a huge difference just by standing up and actually talking about what really matters. Now, like you said, these people with the mainstream media said, do you think you're really going to be on TV? You don't care if you're going to be on TV. You're video recording it right as we speak, and you're going to put it on your YouTube channel and show the masses what's really going on, because really the mainstream is so dead. Sam sent me an article about, 100 newspapers in the last year have gone out of business, and 50% of revenues are down.
Staff all across the board. They can't support their lies. Nobody's buying their lies anymore.
And they don't even produce a good lie, a good product. So
it's the same old tired establishment.
Yeah.
Status quo garbage.
And so people like you, people like us, we're the real media now.
Listen, they know we're coming. And you know what? They know we're coming, and they know we are sickening with the passion of just really exposing them and getting our own news. So you know what? Like I say before, it's not about how big the tower is. It's not about how long it takes to expose the tower. It's about us individually ripping the tower down and writing now that mainstream media tower. I don't want to expose it. I want to rip it down from its core. And, some people won't, we have people who won't promote what they call lunacy journalism or, really radical journalism. But that's what I love. And that's what I do. Because that's what we need. We need individuals who want to rip the structure down. I don't want to negotiate with these parasites. I don't want to talk about how they're not doing their job. I want to talk about how I'm going to come to your doorstep and rip the tower down. That's all I want to know. That's all I want to do. Because guess what? Yes, I like lunacy journalism. Yes, I'm outrageous. Yes, I'm at their doorsteps. Why? Because that's what needs to be done. Listen, sitting on our couch watching this show, sitting on our couch watching Weaponized News ain't going to cut it. You need to weaponize your mind.
Yeah, there we go.
Because until we empower and weaponize our mind, until we weaponize our minds, nothing's going to change.
Yeah, you could.
You know what? Yeah. That's what has to happen.
Yeah, you could prep all day, but if you're not mentally preparing yourself and thinking critically and getting smarter and thirsting for knowledge, it doesn't matter how much food storage you got, guns, whatever. That's smart. That's all great. But if you don't have the mentality to back it up, the knowledge, the weaponizing your mind and shielding yourself from all this mentally enslaving mainstream media that this decadent society that they're pushing, it won't matter.
Well, we still have time now before whatever crazy event they're going to engineer happens, so we can fight the info war now still and raise the consciousness, inspire people to go out there and do it yourself stop cussing out your television and your radio and go out there and do your own reports.
Exactly. And that's what you've been doing. You know what you remind me of, Paul? I think you're going to be a recurring guest on our show, and you're going to be our Gerald Celente, because that's who you remind me of.
I don't want. Let me tell you something. I want to be a recurring guest in people's minds.
That's right.
Because I got the mentality where I want asses held accountable for. I want asses on the table. Okay, that's what I want. I want to be a recurring guest in people's minds, because guess what? Asses need to be on the line. Asses need to be held accountable for. Listen, I've already got stuff lined up for exposing the vaccines. I've already got things lined up for. I'm not even going to get into what I'm doing right now. Listen, I've got things lined up that I'm single-handedly in a city of millions handling it. And you know why most people won't cover me? Because they're not putting asses on the line like I'm putting asses on the line, and like Weaponized News is putting asses on the line. And that's why people aren't covering real journalism. Because they're afraid that if they cover real journalism, then their subscribers, their fans are going to come to us. The people who are putting and holding the parasites accountable for, they're going to come to us. So you're not going to have me on your show? I don't care.
Paul,
you're not going to weaponize news. You're not going to, promote weaponized news, because weaponized news is a little bit too much for you. Good, don't. Because we're going to be the ones that are putting asses on the line.
Putting the feet to the fire. Yeah.
And when people on your shows see that we're putting asses on the line, they're going to want to know why your ass hasn't been on that same line, holding these parasites accountable for the tyranny that they're doing to this country. Now, that's what I'm talking about.
That's
real
right,
talk,
Paul.
man. Real talk.
That's right, Paul. These
happy to be a regular guest on this show anytime you need.
Thank you, Paul.
Guess what?
Yeah.
Whether it be 2 months from now, 3 months from now, 4 months from now, I guarantee I have asses lined up to talk about.
Rock
the next
on,
time
Paul.
I come on this show.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. We appreciate
They're taking over our country.
Yeah, they are. We appreciate your perspective from Philadelphia. And the problem that I see here in Fresno, and I'm sure it's the same thing with the mainstream in Philadelphia, is these mainstream, quote, journalist reporters don't have an opinion of their own, and all they can do is read off of a teleprompter and read off the same old script and do 2-minute soundbite pieces with no real content and no opinion of their own, and just follow the same establishment lie they've been feeding us. And so we're breaking through that paradigm and enlightening people and trying to inspire them to go and do their own reporting because we can't all do it on our own.
You know, and here's the thing. I'm tired of hearing people say, well, I'm a single parent. Well, I've got one leg. Well, I'm in a wheel. Listen, I put my daughter's safety on the line in front of all these policemen to expose the media. And I've done it at the Monsanto that we got damn near 11,000 views.
Yeah.
I'm a single dad.
Yeah.
By myself. Because my kid's deadbeat mom ran off, and I'm an independent journalism trying to empower my daughter and really make a change. If I can do it, you guys can do it. Come on. I mean, and that's the thing. There is really no excuses. Like, you're a single parent. I can't go out there. I can't do this. I can't do that.
Wow.
Listen, here's the one thing I want to say on the show that really, 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 really enriches in my soul. You know, you can sit back on your couch and say, well, you know, I know the economy's crashing and the dollar means nothing. Or, well, I know, that, Obama just basically signed a law that protects police officers against, citizens protecting themselves. Or we could talk about this or we can talk about that. You know what really bothers me is with my little girls have to grow up and say, Daddy, why didn't you fight for me? That is the worst question any human being would have to answer. Mommy, Daddy, why didn't you do something? Why didn't you do something? And that's what boils my blood, because we see all these groups, whether it be chemtrails, Monsanto, and no one wants to do anything. Do you guys want to have to answer that or listening? Do you want to have to answer that question, why didn't you fight for me? Because I sure as heck don't.
Yeah, they don't want to answer it, Paul. They don't want to answer, Paul, because they know that they're not willing. They're not willing to put in the time. And you're covering some great points. You're bringing up some great points. There's no excuse, whether you're a single dad, whether you work full-time. Hey, I'm about to get married in a couple days. I have no apartment to live in. The next-door neighbors burnt their apartment down. I had to move out. I'm still getting married. I'm still doing the show. I'm still working full-time. And I'm still fighting tyranny. It doesn't matter. We're going to continue and you can't be indifferent. People that say, oh, well, maybe eventually I'll start fighting when I get sick of this tyranny. Maybe I'll stop putting up with it and go fight some tyranny. That's not going to happen, because what happens if you're indifferent about this, what's going on, you're just going to go deeper into the slumber, bury your head deeper into the sand, because you're not preparing yourself mentally. You can't just let tyranny lurk. Because it will take over, and before you know it, you will be enslaved. And yeah, our future generations, our children, are going to say, Daddy, Mommy, what the hell did you do to stop this? And they're going to have no response.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And here's the thing. You can prep all the food you want. And I'm sitting here right now at the Mossberg, okay? Watch this. You ready for this? Watch this.
There we go. Technical difficulties.
The show just popped out.
Yeah.
Popped over the phone. Okay. You can prepare all you want physically. Okay. Now, physically, you can prepare with all the weapons you want. Physically, you can prepare with all the food you want. If you don't prepare up here, then nothing's going to change.
Yep. I agree completely.
Nothing's going to change. And as I just demonstrated with the Mossberg right here, okay, here it is. You know what? Yes, I'm armed. Yes, I'm ready. Yes, I've got 200 gallons of water in the basement ready to go if shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
I'm ready to. But every day I'm out there trying to get in the minds of individuals who inspire others. Listen, and I want to say this for the show also. Guys, don't believe anything I say or anything that Weaponized News says, okay? Do your own research. Do your own activism, okay? And take what we're saying on this show with a grain of salt. Whatever you can take out of it, empower yourself to empower others, because knowledge isn't power.
Yeah.
Unless you take that knowledge and empower others. So I can say, hey, expose the media or expose Monsanto, and you could gain knowledge and encouragement from that. But if you don't act on that, then it means nothing.
No, that's
one of the reasons. It's that's how it is. I mean, we can arm ourselves to the teeth, as I just did right now, and knocked over, obviously the Skype cam.
Yeah.
But that is proving the point that unless we empower our minds, nothing's going to change.
Yeah, because it goes deeper than the physical. It goes deep.
Hillary Clinton right now is one of the parasites that just paid Google a shitload of money to censor anything that is said about her.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about Benghazi. Let's not talk about the fact that, Hillary Clinton, has hired people from Monsanto to poison our food.
Yeah. Hey, Paul, just for the rest of the interview, try to keep it as clean as possible, just because it's got to go on air, but it's okay. Hey, if we were just doing YouTube, it'd be fine. You're covering all the key points, really. If you're not going to prepare mentally, it doesn't matter if you prepare physically, because it is a spiritual battle, I believe. We're just here on earth in the physical realm. Our spirits are worth a lot more. We're going somewhere, and we were here before we came to this earth. And I think everyone kind of knows that. So it's a spiritual battle between good and evil. And if people aren't willing to pull the trigger mentally and actually use that knowledge that they get from, let's say, our videos or your videos, then they're not going to be able to do it physically anyway, because it just that's not how things work. But like you said, go do your own research. We always tell people, go do your own research. Don't trust us. Go do your own research. But don't people? Personally, I'm going to trust my next door neighbor more than I trust some hack that was hired by some giant mainstream oligopoly that's feeding us the bull on TV. So that's what we need to do. We need to become, and that's what we're trying to do, all of us, is we are the new reporters. We are the new media, and people can come to us. They know us. They see us at work. They see us going to the grocery store. We're not some mainstream media hack reading off a teleprompter, told what to say with no opinion, told what to say by their masters, all owned by basically 6 corporations with the same narrative. I'm going to trust guys like you that are actually telling it how it is and showing us, and you're just a regular guy. Same with us. We just work full time, and we're out doing citizen journalism, doing the best we can. That is what everyone needs to start doing, because I'm going to trust my next door neighbor and my buddy that lives down the street doing a citizen journal video report of what's going on and doing research than some hack at a local mainstream media outlet.
We have the technology now. It may not be Hollywood produced, but the information is available there for us right now. Take advantage of it in the small window of time that we have. People, please, I'm begging you.
Yeah.
And that's real though. What Sam's saying, in the small window that we have, and what really resonates with me is that this is a spiritual warfare, and I talk a lot about this. What we're going through right now, this is just a physical body. What we're dealing with right now is a spiritual warfare, because these parasites that we think are the president or elected officials, they're parasites. They understand how the conscious works. They understand how thought manifestation works. If you think you can make change, if you get enough people to make change, you can manifest them thoughts into change.
Yeah.
And, here's the problem with activism that I struggle with on a daily basis. When I talk about chemtrails or the media or gun rights or anything like that, and I start talking about, well, it's a spiritual warfare, people, the consciousness, you have to understand how the consciousness works. People don't, listen, we have people that are just now waking up to the NDAA. We have people that are just waking up now to the fact that presidents are selected, not elected.
Yeah.
We have people that are just now waking up to the fact that our air, food, water is being poisoned. Now, how the heck do you expect people to say, oh my God, all these things that are happening, but you expect me to think that this is spiritual warfare? I mean, it's just that is exactly what the elite are doing. You understand?
Yeah.
That they're hitting us on the left and the right and the up and the down so fast, so quick, that when people do wake up, when people finally wake up, they're going to be thinking with this, okay?
Yeah.
They're going to be thinking with this. They're not going to be thinking with this.
Yeah.
Because they're angry, and rightfully so. People have a right to be angry because we're being enslaved. But in the same time, try to say to these same individuals who are just waking up to the fact of tyranny, try to say, hey, look, we're dealing with beings, and I say that lightly on the show, we're dealing with beings that are, it's a spiritual warfare with them. It's just, it's too much for people that are just waking up.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard a lot of people say, Paul, you're too, aggressive. But that's because I like it that way. I mean, I want to force feed this.
You're
stuff
real.
to everybody.
Yeah.
I want to get to the whole milk and gravy and meat and gravy of it all. I want to say, this is why this is happening. I want to throw it all at you, okay? I don't want to just say, that gun rights are being taken and laws are being passed. I want to say there are parasites behind the agenda that are so deep in what you think is reality that it would make your mind flip. And that's what I do, because I believe that people need to be force-fed because we don't have a lot of time. We don't have a lot of time. People like Carla Turner, Phil Schneider, the one guy who has the family, the pilot who got killed that wrote the book about 9/11. All our truthers are being murdered. We need to get this information out as fast as possible and lay it all out. Because listen, they're laying it all out as fast as possible. Let's look what like I said, look what Obama passed with the, right over what happened this last weekend. He passed a law to protect the crooked cops.
Yeah.
They do it when they do it at holidays when people are out barbecuing and worried about drinking booze.
Yeah.
And hanging with their families. That's when they're passing these laws.
Yeah, and we know the state has a monopoly on violence, so taking up arms against the state is going to land you nowhere but dead or in prison, and we're going to lose the moral high ground. So if we can raise our consciousness level above theirs and our vibration level, then we can defeat them. But just going out there and saying, I'm going to go do violence against some, say, random police officer like we see a lot happening now, because the establishment's pushing this, we're falling right into their trap, so then they can say that they're morally superior and we're the bad ones. And so don't fall for that trap, because it's social engineering.
And I've said this, the first time I was on this show, and I've always said that I believe that non-compliance is the way to go, because any rally, any protest, and I have people that I've done the protests with. When I would talk to the cops, I would say, officer, your pension is gone.
Yeah.
You're a slave to the system. You don't have no frigging money when you retire. It's gone. And when I did I covered the Freddie Gray protest.
Yeah.
Okay. When they beaten up Freddie Gray.
Yeah.
Well, when they killed Freddie Gray, I did the Freddie Gray protest, and I told the officer, I said, listen, I understand you're not all evil. I said the system is trying to push you against us. What's going on right now? What's going on right now in America is that they're trying to turn the cops. Well, first of all, they're trying to get a civil war going. But besides that, what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it to where the cops are afraid of the citizens, and the citizens are afraid of the cops. So when they bring the new order in, when they call a martial law, the cops are going to be like, well, hell, they're already against us anyway, so, we're going to have to do what we have to do. Now, I have friends that are cops that have underground bunkers. Yeah. I have friends that... No shit. Yeah, that's right.
Keep it clean.
My friend that's an officer, he said, listen, I'm for the people. I understand things are going bad. I have an underground bunker where I have food stored, guns stored, ammo stored, and I'm for the people. I'm telling you, Paul, he said, listen, when things hit the fan, listen. Where do you think all the police officers are going to be at? With their families.
Yeah.
You talk about the native troops and the Chinese troops and the Russian troops and this and that. Where do you think all these police officers are going to be? They're going to be protecting their families.
Yeah.
And they're going to be us. But they're trying to what the government's trying to do is not only create a civil war, but they're trying to have it where they're trying to corrupt, to push the cops against the citizens. And I believe that. And a lot of people are going to say, well, Paul, it's no excuse for cops shooting 19 times and killing an innocent man. Well, that's fine. You know what? There is no excuse for that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you have to act like a frigging animal and loot, stores. I mean, you're African American. Listen,
It's uncalled for, completely uncalled for. Yeah.
So you think going out and looting a store is going to help the community? No, it's not.
And it has nothing to do with the cop either.
All right, go ahead, my friend.
It has nothing to do with the actual police that did it. If you're going to get mad, that's the thing. If you're going to get mad at the system, get mad at the people that actually committed the crime that you're mad about. No, they just go steal condoms from a convenience store and say it's because this kid died and I get a free pass because I'm black and you guys are all racist. That is the ignorance that we've been seeing, and it's discrediting real protest about real police brutality, because there is an issue with that. But like you said, you brought up a good point. Do we really think when martial law occurs that all these police officers are going to be out here day and night walking the streets? No. They're going to want to go have fun with their family and protect them, too.
We saw it with Hurricane Sandy that happened on the East Coast. FEMA closed their office. Where do you think FEMA was? They were at home taking care of their own family and property.
Yeah. So it proves that
I was there on the front lines, helping, supporting that. So I mean, and again, it's about just getting out there and being about community, because that's what we really need to do. And don't you think officers of the law really watch the show? Of course they do. Don't you think they're on my YouTube channel? Of course they are.
Yeah.
And this is what they love hearing. Look, we support all positive, productive officers that want to really be about positive change and the New World Order, because again, when the shit hits, when it hits the fan, the police are going to be out protecting their families. I mean, to honestly think anything else is lunacy. What we need to worry about is the NATO troops that are on soil. What we need to worry about is the Chinese and the Russians that have been training on our soil. And what we need to worry about is the the young brainwashed Marines and the Army men and women who are doing these drills in Texas about going against citizens. I mean, that's what we need to worry about. I don't think we need to worry about the cops.
That's a good point.
And continue to do outreach with them, try to wake them up, because I think
outreach. I think doing what we're doing right now to awaken young minds and inspiring minds to independent journalism and to weaponizednews.com. I think we need to do the same thing to the officers of the law and to anyone who's listening. I think the main threat for this country right now is NATO.
We are not going to benefit from one world government. No American citizen, nobody in North America is. They're going to decrease our standard of living down to third world levels, worse than Mexico is right now.
Like I say, love is key. Love is key. Love vibration is the highest vibration.
Yeah.
It's a spiritual warfare, and they want to basically. I do a lot of lectures, and I've done a lot of lectures. And one of the things I talk about is called dehumanization. And what I mean by that is there's so many people that are on their cell phones, on their iPhones, on their iPads, on their PS4s. If I get on the subway and I say, hello, how are you? People look at me like I'm crazy. Oh, well, you're just some, drug addict looking, pervert that wants to say hi. Nobody wants to go ahead and hug you or say hi,
Have a conversation, converse.
I'm going to do a video to prove this. Because this is real talk now, okay?
Yeah.
It's called dehumanization. Now, in order to enslave a society, you have to dehumanize a society.
True.
And the reason that I spoke multiple times, presentation-wise, because in order to enslave a society, you have to dehumanize them. Now, by dehumanize them, most people don't do activism. Why? Oh, well, why the heck do I want to do activism? I got my PS4. Why the heck do I want to do activism?
Yeah, they're distracted.
I've got my Xbox 360 or my iPhone. I don't need to do anything like that. This is the real threat. Like I said, this right here, and I want to put it out here, this is my family's protection. But you know what my real family's protection is? This.
Yeah, mental.
My friend, weaponize and ammo up your mind, because they're dehumanizing us to condition us to be comfortable with the gadgets. Listen, collect unemployment for two friggin' years. We don't care. Relax. Put your feet up. Don't worry about nothing. We've got this. Listen.
You got Angry Birds.
Collect welfare with your 6 kids. Yeah. Put your feet up. You don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about nothing. Listen, collect Social Security. Don't work. We don't care. Put your feet up. We don't care. Now, the reason for this is to dehumanize. Yeah. To dehumanize people, because what happens is when you have the martial law call, when you have the war call, when you have the false flag, you're going to have so many individuals that don't know how to interact with each other on a subway, on a bus, on a highway, on a protest. Listen, I've been to so many protests where I just walked up and I said, sweetheart, or sir, or madam, whatever, this is what we're here for. We don't have time for that. I'm on my cell phone. So when the elitist, when the parasites, as I call them, when they go ahead and they pull their curtain down, what's going to happen is people are going to be so baby spoiled fed and so friggin' conditioned with their bullshit iPhones and their iPads and this and that. They're not going to want to fight. They're going to wonder where their next Wi-Fi connection's going to come from. They're not going to care. Yeah. They're going to wonder when their Comcast got shut off because of martial law. Oh, my God.
Yeah, they're not worried about martial law. It's just the Comcast.
I don't care if they take my rights. All I care about is when Xfinity's going to put my goddamn dancing with the stars on. That's called dehumanization.
It is, Paul, and it's part of this engineering. And those same people are not going to care when they go and round people up. Say, for instance, when they round up patriots.
Don't get me fired up. Don't get me fired up, because this isn't the first time we ran this show. Don't get me fired up.
No, it's all part of the social engineering.
This is why I exposed the media. This is why I hand my fist to Monsanto. This is why I've done all the chemtrail rallies in Pennsylvania. And this is why you frauds won't cover me. You know why? Because I'm speaking truth. Because weaponized news is bringing truth. And I don't give a rat's ass what you think. Because until you decide I don't care about, this person isn't going to subscribe to me, or that's not. You know what? Yeah. Yes, I am insane, because that's the truth. That's what people need. That's what blue-collar people need to hear. That's what working class need to hear. That's what people in the ghetto need to hear. Yeah. Any people out here talking about what's going on, they're dehumanizing us. They're just taking our essence, breaking us down. If we were in 1776 right now, we wouldn't be protesting. We would have this right here up their ass demanding change. That's what we would be. If it was 1776 right now, we wouldn't have weaponized news. We would have weapons in hand and held the asses accountable.
But we do got weaponized news.
Dehumanizing us since day one.
Yeah. PaulWesley, our guest, Truthchaser. Add him on, subscribe to him on YouTube. Paul, you brought up some really good points once again. Man, I love your energy. Hey, you know what? We're all radicals. We're all outlaws, because the system wants to get rid of all regular, normal human activity. They want us to be on our iPhones. They don't want us to talk to each other. They want to know where our next Wi-Fi connection is going to come, like you said, not worrying about the NDAA or the fact that we're slipping into tyranny and the NSA spying on everything we do, and Obama ran on ending the surveillance state, but now he's just accelerated it even more because he's such a fraudster, and they're all scumbags, and we're getting mad about it. That is a normal human response, and Alex Jones talks about this a lot, and people might think he's a conspiracy theorist, but it is the truth. They are trying to get rid of all normal human activity, and once they do that, like you said, dehumanize society so no one really cares when there's martial law. We don't care that there's martial law. We just care where our Wi-Fi connection or our Comcast. Where's my Jerry Springer? Where's my Maury Povich show? I need my Judge Judy. It's like, that is not normal. We need to be pissed off and take action in a nonviolent way. The non-aggression principle is key until someone actually forces themselves onto us, and that's when we have the right, the moral high ground to take action.
Well, listen, it's too late then, because listen, by the time that they force themselves onto us, not to cut you off, but by that time, you know what they're going to say? They're going to say, where were your antennas at when we were passing these laws? Yeah. Where were your antennas at when we were passing these executive orders? Oh, I'm sorry, now you're mad? It's too late then. It's too late. And that's why Weaponized News brings you the news and does what it does.
Yeah, and this is teleprompter free. We don't get any media, we don't get any bailouts from the government or the taxpayers. And we are self-funded. We work hard all day and come and put on this show for our audience. And we're just talking about real issues. You know, we're just talking about what things. It's a normal response to be mad about NSA spying or the fact that we've been in illegal wars for years, and it's actually bankrupting the country. And the tax that we collect doesn't even pay for what we've spent this year. We've taken a record amount of income tax, and I've looked at the reports. We spend still every year more than we take in, and they think that that's supposed to be sustainable. They want us to believe that. The deficit spending crowd, the Keynesianism, right, Sam? That kind of economics is an atheistic, almost satanic way of actually running society. Let's deficit spend because we're all going to die. We don't care about the future generations. We just care about us now, and we're selfish, and we don't care, and we will lie to you.
Children into debt slavery.
Absolutely.
You know, let DHS come and handle your children. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of them. We'll make them good, proper slaves. But
yeah, they'll be wards of the state, and we'll let the state, take over our children.
Wrap it up.
But anyway, Paul Wesley, Truthchaser, please subscribe to his channel on YouTube. Paul, it's been about 45 minutes. We don't want to keep you any longer, and I know you've been ranting and raving, and we love it. It makes for great radio and great YouTube videos.
It's not about ranting and raving. It's about speaking the truth. Okay?
Absolutely.
I don't like the term ranting and raving. I'll tell you what. It's called speaking the truth, and that's one of the things that people need to hear that people don't want to hear.
That's right.
It's called speaking the truth.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for having me on, and I appreciate everything you guys are doing. Because without Weaponized News, without what you guys are doing, it wouldn't even be possible for me to even rant or rave or speak.
That's right.
We appreciate all your work, Paul. Can you give out all your plug all your websites, Twitters, YouTube, do all that before you go?
You know what? I got a plug for you. Here's a plug. It's called Empower Your Mind. Don't listen to anything I freaking say on the show. It's called Empower Your Mind to Empower Others. You know, I'm not even going to talk about my website. I'm not even going to give my YouTube. I've been there. I've done that. And I'm not going to do it again. You know what my website is? www.empoweryourmind.com. www.youtube.com. Stop watching your TV. Turn it off. Empower yourself to empower others. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it, and thank you again.
It's awesome, Paul. Thank you.
Absolutely. We'll have you on again. Hey, keep doing what you're doing, waking up people in Philadelphia, Paul.
Non-stop, baby. Thank you so much.
All right, have a good night, Paul.
All right, have a good one, Paul. Take care.
I have a good feeling I'm going to do a lot of editing tonight. That guy, I like him, man. He's straight to the point.
Hey.
Doesn't hold back nothing. I love him, man.
That is a real guy, folks, and it's not weird that he's mad about what's going on. It's not weird that he's actually trying to wake people up and talk about real issues. That's not weird, okay? It's not weird that he's doing that. It's weird that you think it's weird, okay? If you're listening to the show and you thought that guy was weird. No, that's what I love to listen to because it gets me fired up and it strengthens me to do this show and run this operation with Sam because we have to stand up. We have to be real men. Like our last guest from last week, Dean Ryan, was said, where are the real men in this world?
Right.
Are they going to stand up and speak out? Are they going to raise the public awareness, get smart, start prepping, but then also prepping your mind? I mean, it takes both. You can't just go watch football, prep, and then go watch football and not read books, not read legislation, not try to understand what the TPP does, and just write off people that rant and rave because, like he said, he doesn't like that term, rant and rave. It's a normal human response to get mad and speak the truth. He said, speak the truth. That is correct. And a lot of what he brought up was exactly what people need to be hearing. Okay? Yeah, we're not for rioting and looting, but we're not for we're not for letting the police be unaccountable. We're not for federalizing the police. We're not for big central governments running our lives. We're not for corruption and unaccountable corruption in government. We pay the taxes of every government worker. If you work for the government, I pay your salary. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I pay your salary. And I'm pissed when I don't get responses. I'm supposed to worship you because I pay your salary? No. That's not how it works. When this country falls,
mind control.
There you go.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. And so, how about this? When this country collapses, guess what? Your salary, government workers, there's going to be no salary. There's going to be no pensions.
They're a hell of a lot more responsible for all this than we are because they are actually in positions to set policy.
Exactly. If you work for the IRS, why would you work for them if they're creating bigger bureaucracy just so maybe you get job security and a pay raise? Oh, to destroy the country? Yeah, let's get rid of bureaucracy. If you work for a bureaucracy, either quit or stand up against it. If you're a policymaker within the bureaucracy, yeah, you need to make some changes, okay? I mean, man, going to a government building and actually trying to get something done, and I mean, just getting a marriage license, man. I mean, the fact that we have to get a government marriage license is ridiculous.
The government is it's dysfunctional. It can't even it doesn't. The left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing, and it's just very, very disgusting that we have to pay for it and prop it up with our sweat and tears and hard work.
Sam, we should cover this real quick.
Let's go over that
in the last 9 minutes of our first hour.
This is from. We'll just trade off here. This is from Jordan Page, a great musician, patriot, liberty lover. And it's about how we are not free in this country, regardless of how many lies that the government and mainstream media want to tell you. These are some facts about living under the tyranny of the American system in 2015. Number one, he says, you can't build a house without the government's permission.
And that's if you own a house, you don't own it because you pay property tax on it, and you also can't build whatever you want on that property, right, Sam?
No, you can't.
Yeah, without the government's permission.
You can't eat food without the government's permission.
GMOs,
the
FDA, government regulations. Oh, can you grow your own garden? No, they're shutting down gardens. Can you sell your food out of your own garden to someone next door?
They're shutting down
No,
water.
That's illegal too.
They're going to fine you if you use too much water to grow your food. You can't drive a car without the government's permission.
DMV, ever heard of the DMV? Yeah, it's hellish. Everyone knows it. It's a running joke of our society. Why don't we get rid of it? It's ridiculous.
You can try to claim to be a sovereign citizen, but tell that to the wrong police officer, and they'll probably shoot you dead.
Yeah, they want self-driving vehicles, and they want to tax you by the mile.
You can't own a gun without the government's permission. Second Amendment.
Yeah, no, there is no Second Amendment. You can't walk around in California with a gun on you without a concealed carry.
They'll shoot you dead.
Yeah, because I guess you're a terrorist if you actually exercise your Second Amendment. It's the second right of the Bill of Rights.
Shall not be infringed.
And you can bear the arm, which means you can have it on you. So whatever anyone wants to say, you can walk around with a gun as long as you're not brandishing it or pointing it at someone. You can walk around and be armed. It is completely legal under the Constitution.
Who's the real criminals? The ones that are calling everyone else criminals, or the ones violating the Bill of Rights?
There you go. The supreme law of the land, our unalienable rights to defend ourselves.
You can't go fishing without the government's permission.
Yeah, Fish and Wildlife, or what is it, Fish and Game, Wildlife, whatever, that game department. Warden. I mean, yeah, if they come out and you have, if you have shot too many birds or if you have too much ammo on you, yeah, ticket right there, or just put in jail.
If you don't have a fishing license,
You don't
you're
have
going to get a
officially
big fine.
Hey, free country. People that love George W. Bush. Hey, the free country. Remember, if you're not with us, you're with the terrorists.
That's why we have to fight them.
We can't go fishing in this country because the Bill of Rights don't exist, and if you're not with us, you're with the terrorists.
They're
just keep saying
spying
it in
on
your
us,
head.
fighting perpetual war on terror for our freedom.
Never-ending war for the Bill of Rights that are being eroded because of all the tyranny and all the 1984 doublespeak. Take away your rights because we need freedom. Yeah, take away freedom because we need freedom.
Here's one for
Fight
you,
for
Stuart,
it.
that you know all
Ridiculous.
about. You can't get married without the government's permission.
Yeah, and I'm about to get married, and I had to go get the government's permission to marry my future wife, almost wife. It's ridiculous. Come on, seriously?
You can't.
And you got to pay them. I got to pay them.
Yeah.
What for? What? Because you said
Because you're
that
a slave.
Oh yeah.
Because they
Guess I'll
work for
live in
you,
fear.
you have to pay them.
You ever tried to call a government office, a government building?
Yes, it's very frustrating.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. It's funny. We pay their salaries. In fact, they're a monopoly. We have to pay them, but the service is so horrible. No actual business in the private market would ever succeed.
It's so bad
if they
for the
operated
state
like the
that
government.
it's failing right now too.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't even
Sovereign CA.
with unlimited funding. Yeah.
Sovereign California.
Moving on in this list, Stuart, you can't work without the government's permission. So we can't even go to work to pay their salaries so they can enslave us without their permission.
Yeah, you have to be documented, and it's not even just about that.
You gotta have a social security number.
You gotta have a social security number, but you have to, like Sam will bring up a lot. You have to ppay the government to work. If I work
Yes,
a job,
you do.
I have
Try
to pay
not-
the government at the end of the year because I worked. But if I don't work, the government pays me, or I can get money from the government. How 1984 is that? It doesn't get any worse.
Try not paying your income taxes, even though there is no law. They will come and arrest you, and you will have a hard life.
Yeah.
Moving on in this list, you can't leave the country without the government's permission. More of that freedom for you.
Yeah. And Ron Paul said it best when he said, well, we need to be worried about building a fence on the border to keep ourselves to keep everyone in this country, because people are going to be wanting leaving when the deficit spending, the debt drug, finally runs out and it doesn't give you that high anymore. And literally our standard of living goes down completely. 30 million people will be on the streets, or 100 million. Who knows, without jobs.
You can come into this country without
because
the government's permission because, as the Border Patrol has stated on record, they complete the smuggling process for these illegal aliens coming into this country, which is just mind-blowing.
But to leave, to get rid of your citizenship and to get out of here and take money out, no.
Not without
if you haven't paid your
permission.
taxes, you'll be thrown into, debt slavery by the government. And remember the Border Patrol officer that said...
You'll be put on a terror watch list and... probably arrested for being a domestic terrorist. Moving on in this list, we know all about this, you can't start a business without the government's permission.
The licensing racket. Need I say more? You have to be able to be a carpenter, to be able to be a painter, to be able to do the most basic job. The government has to approve you. That is tyranny.
You have to pay city tax, county tax, state tax, federal tax.
But have a barbecue and raise the flag and say, USA, 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 the wars are all good and no one will ever attack us. And I'm not really worried about an invasion, but what if an invasion happened? We would be the terrorists. If China invaded us, we would be the terrorists fighting them. And they would look at us as terrorists. That's what we do overseas. And so just raise your flag and mindlessly say USA, USA, and then not understand what's really going on. We can't deficit spend. It'll end. It will end, and it's going to end.
Yeah, the whole flag thing.
I respect our flag for what it stood for, not what it stands for currently.
We
what
know
the government's
we know
manipulated
from
into.
federal tax cases that if you fly the flag and you don't want to pay your federal taxes, they will rule against you.
Wait, really?
Yeah, because they say that you're underneath the federal zone.
I guess so.
Moving on here in this list, you can't fly a commercial plane without the government's permission.
The government owns the skies. Now the world is owned by governments. Let's just put it that way.
That we pay their salary.
We pay their salary, and they enslave us even more. So it's like even if we don't pay them, they'll put us in jail, and if we do pay them, they'll still put us in mental slavery or physical slavery, depending on if they don't like us.
You can't take drugs without the government's permission.
Yeah, that's why they have Big Pharma. They prescribe you the drugs they want you on, and they make all the money. The legal drug dealing going on in this country is absurd.
And like you say, Stuart, it's more than just the drugs that you may think of, like pharmaceutical drugs. It's the debt drug. These people are strung out money junkies working for the banks and Wall Street. Okay, that's the best way to describe how these people are doing our economy, because they're psychopaths. In the end, they're going to wind up jumping out of windows when their stock crashes.
Yeah.
Just like we've already seen.
The banking industry.
When the banking finally crashes, you're going to see a bunch of Wall Street bankers jumping out of high-rise buildings in New York City, like we've already seen in the great crash of 1929.
It's like the Wolf of Wall Street. They're on this mega high of like drugs, money, greed, living large, but it all comes to an end, and that will happen.
On 9/11, they were in the World Trade Center still trading airline stocks because they knew ahead of time that it was a false flag terrorist attack.
Wow.
They couldn't pry themselves away from the trading desk to get out of the building and save themselves because they're such strung out money junkies.
Wow, and most of the stock market is rigged, which has been proved. So it's malinvestment. It's not real wealth being created. It's just speculation, and they manipulate derivatives, and they just manipulate the interest rates and the markets so that it continues to be this ongoing, perpetual state of delusion. It's not, and it's not real wealth being created. Just like the bubbles, all the bubbles, and the bubbles that we've seen. There's no real actual.
It's not sound
investment
money.
there. It's not sound. People investing in companies that aren't worth anything just off speculation
and media hype.
It's ridiculous.
You can't even cross the street without the government's permission.
That's true. And but hey, so on Memorial Day, which just passed, remember all those who died defending your freedom. That's Jordan Page. Folks, we're going to see you on the other side. Weaponizednews.com. Visit our website. And just stay tuned for the next hour, and we're going to go over some news. We appreciate PaulWesley, Truthchaser, for being on the show the first hour. He is awesome, but we got to work on his profanity issue, but it's okay. We're fine. We love all the citizen journalists and his work, especially Truthchaser. Visit his, subscribe to his YouTube channel. We'll see you on the other side, weaponizednews.com.
This is a public service announcement. Red alert. Red alert. All 6 media corporations, Time Warner, Disney, Viacom, News Corporation, CBS Corporation, and Comcast, have one thing in common. The executives who run them belong to an international crime syndicate whose American branch is the Council on Foreign Relations. The CFR was founded in 1921 by David Rockefeller, the son of the Rockefeller banking and oil dynasty. Carroll Quigley, mentor to Bill Clinton, said in his book Tragedy and Hope, the CFR is the American branch of a society which originated in England and which believes that national boundaries should be obliterated and a one-world rule established. Although media seems to be biased, either being conservative or Democrat, the men who own these media corporations care nothing about these political parties. The job of these corporations is to keep the people divided on social issues while telling the masses of people globalization, a one-world order, and illegal foreign wars of aggression are all necessary and for your benefit. Time Warner CEO Jeffrey Bukes, CFR member. John S. Chen, Board of Director of the Walt Disney Company, CFR member. George Soros, financier of Media Matters, CFR member. Rupert Murdoch, CEO of News Corp, CFR member. Leslie Stahl, co-editor of 60 Minutes, CFR member. Brian Williams, NBC anchor, CFR member. Be sure to call the Satanic Council on Foreign Relations and verify what has just been told to you. This message has been brought to you by We Are Change Fresno TV.